Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel for another Skull and Bones PvP showcase. Today the weapons we're using are the Scurlock Long Nines, which were an insane amount of waiting, a fair amount of grind, but mainly just waiting. And we've got a set of 4 of them that we will be putting through their paces in today's video. The clips that I have are pretty much just 1v1s, and I was seeking 1vx, so 1v2s or 1v3s, but I couldn't quite find that for this video. So hopefully for the next one I can get a little bit more of that going on. So let's get into it. So let's talk about the build first, so that you guys can get a picture of what is actually happening to our enemies while we're destroying them. So we are using a full set of Scurlock Long Nines across the board, and these are just, they're beautiful long guns. I love these, but the wait time and the grind, which I will get into the details of how to obtain these and how long it takes to get these, is just soul-breakingly just lame, in my opinion. And it wasn't interactive, it wasn't fun, and it wasn't interesting. And I mean, yeah, you'll see when I explain it. So let's get back to the Scurlock Long Nines. So the Scurlock Long Nines will provide you 2,234 damage on a 9-second reload, which is all long guns. You do have that 1,000 meter range because it's a long gun, which is quite nice, just you never really end up using it, but it is good to have. The velocity of these Scurlock Long Nines and all long cannons are really, really nice, so you don't have to aim too high for leading shots. I wish that on the stat card it did say what the velocity are for the different weapons. It would be quite nice, but beggars can't really be choosers here. So it does come with 3 perks, the first one being Master Breaker. Deals 7,000 damage after the Torn Sail effect is applied. That he does have another set you can get. This is the cheaper one you can acquire, Scurlock Chasers, that also has this Master Breaker effect. Just the damage is 1,362 compared to the 2,234 you will get on the upgrade. So Master Breaker for the 7,000 damage, this is like in other games you could say true damage. You can't brace it, so you can't negate it. You can't reduce it by your armor effects and things like that. You're just going to take 7,000 damage every time your sails are torn. Just true damage, which is quite nice against tanks. Now, in one of the clips, I do fight a Snow, and he is obviously a tanky boy. It does take me quite a while to take him down, but we do end up taking him down, and the part of it was he just could not brace this damage. So he just didn't have the time in between his repair kits to stay alive long enough to do another one. So we managed to crack through his defenses and break his tank with this Master Breaker effect, and you're going to see that in the clip. It was really fun having a fight with him. The second effect we have here is Piercing 3. This has 30% of the damage as piercing damage, and also increases your damage to weak points by 100%. This is kind of whatever. I guess this is, in my eyes, more of a PvE thing. You know, you can do more damage to weak points. That's fantastic. It is what it is. Tearing 2 increases your damage by 50% when hitting sails. This is fantastic to have because you're going to be shooting sails with these guns practically all the time. Unless you're fighting AI and you want to shoot their weak points, but we're talking strictly PvP here. You're going to be shooting someone's sails all the time, so this is just nice to have that extra 50% damage. Obviously, this does piercing damage, and it has no other elemental effects outside of that. So that is that. Those are the Scurlock Long Nines. Personally, these are now my new favorite weapon for PvP. I can't get rid of them. I'm probably going to do quite a few videos on them. They also absolutely look awesome. If you see here the red and gold, that, you know, the Scurlock theme, they look fantastic. They really do. But people question, why do I go with a full loadout of a weapon system, be it fire bombards, be it Scurlock Long Nines? Why do I pick all of the same weapons. Now, there is a few reasons, but the major big reason is because when you're fighting, you're going to, like, you'll see me fighting in these clips, and I will try and get both a broadside and either my bow or my stern involved at the same time to try and get 6 cannons involved shooting the target instead of just 4. And when I'm trying to do that, and you have different weapons on the front, on the sides, on the back, or whatever, you're gonna have different ranges. You're gonna have different velocities, so different lead. You're gonna have different reloads, and it's a lot to be thinking about when you're brawling with somebody, which is kind of what I do. So having across the board these same guns just lets me fluently move my ship around and keep the pressure on the target constantly, and it just feels way better than mixing them up. Now, you can of course mix your weapon up. It can be fun. It's nice to have different flavors to choose from when fighting people and different things to do. But in my opinion, and this is just my own opinion, you know, you play the game how you personally want, and if you're finding great success, bloody-tastic, I'm happy for you. But in my personal opinion, having a full loadout of the same weapons is the best way to go about it. So let's talk about where to get Scurlocks Long Nines. So first of all, to at least buy the cannons, you're going to have to go to John Scurlock himself, and you will be able to purchase a few things. Here you can buy the schematic for his lesser cannon. But the main one we're here for are these Scurlock Long Nines. Now, to buy these, you're going to need Gold Skull Rum. So I'm going to show you exactly how to acquire that, and it is horrible. So to acquire the Gold Skull Rum, first you're going to need to unlock the ability to craft Gold Skull Rum. To do that, you're going to need to go to your Helm's table, and you go to the Upgrade tab, and then here, this Smuggler's Operation, you're going to need to get to level 8, so I believe that's 7 upgrades. It is going to cost you pieces of 8, which will, you know, go up by each level. So at 8, it's 225. I don't roughly remember exactly how much you need. I think maybe 400, 500, but I could be completely wrong. I don't fully remember, but I do know you're going to need some pieces of 8, and you're going to have to get this Smuggler's Operation and your Upgrade tab upgraded to this one that I'm on. Then, once you've done that, you're going to have to get yourself 8,000 sugarcane. The way you acquire sugarcane, or at least how I personally acquired sugarcane, there might be better ways. It's just how I personally did it. I would go into my thing here, and I would look for deals on sugarcane, and I would just go buy all the deals on sugarcane. Then what I would do is I'll look on attack, and I'll attack the forts that had sugarcane. There's one right here that has 360 sugarcane. Also, make sure that you check the level of the fort, because that does that. I fought level 14 and died in 2 shots. So I'll make sure here I've got a contract already for some. This is a level 10. This is very, very manageable. I was able to do it no problems. There's some maybe level 11s and 12s. Those are also fairly not too bad. You should be able to solo them. If you guys are having trouble soloing forts and need some more further information, I could possibly do a video on that. Just let me know in the comments and we can look into it. Anyway, back to it. So that's how you acquire some of the sugarcane. There's probably better ways to do it. That's just personally how I did it, and I would do those pretty much on repeat. Once you acquire the sugarcane, you're going to have to go to your distillery, the one in St. Anne. And once here, you will be able to craft your White Skull Rum, as you're going to have to. So you craft up your White Skull Rum. It's going to take you 13 seconds to do 1 sugarcane for 1 White Skull Rum. You're going to need, if you want 4 cannons, which is what I have in this build, you're going to need 8,000 sugarcane for 8,000 White Skull Rum. That is going to take you 28.8 hours to process. Okay, so you're just 28 hours just to process the first bit. Then you're going to have to craft 4,000 gold skull rum from your 8,000 white skull rum, as it's a 2-to-1 ratio. This is going to take you 22 seconds to do one process. So for the amount we're looking for here, which is 4,000, that's going to take you a further 24.4 hours to complete. So over 2 days of just waiting. And then you also have to get the sugarcane too. And that's, you know, if you're not sleeping or you try and min-max your time and plan it all out. But that's how you acquire it. It's not the greatest thing, content in my opinion. It is just horrible to acquire, but I hope that clears up how to acquire it, how to get it, and if you guys are interested, at least you can get it done yourselves. For the armor, or the hull, I am still using the Royal Custodian hull armor, and if you haven't seen my other videos on why I use this, basically, obviously you have the 1150 armor, and a nice spread in resistances. I've mentioned this before, I would rather have 30% in fire, 12% in piercing, but what it is now is still perfectly fine. And the reason I'm using it is due to the perk that I have, and also the ease of getting this. I have Refortify, and this applies a fortified effect for 12 seconds after using a repair kit, which increases armor by 35%. So I use Repair Kit 1s, I use Enhanced Repair Kit 1s, and I also use Repair Kit 2s. What that does, gives me very, very low cooldown, gives me quite a bit of health, and I'll use Repair Kit 1s on a 20-second cooldown just to proc this effect, just to give me that extra bit of defense while I'm brawling. In the fights, you might see me using that in the clips. For the furniture, I am using Scrapper Station for the 8,000 hull health after crew attack. For PvP, I might be changing this, but when I do, I'll let you all know. You'll be the first to know. For the second slot, we have the increased acceleration, deceleration by 8% from the balanced mast. This gives me a bit more maneuverability. While I'm out at sea, I like to be able to slow down and speed up, because it lets me, slowing down just lets me turn just significantly faster, so it gives me better coverage of my guns, especially, which is really good while you're fighting. For the third slot, we have Long Gun Works, increases elemental damage multiplier of long guns by 19%. I'm not sure if this adds to the piercing damage. I'm going to guess piercing equals elemental. I don't know. I've yet to find out, so maybe this is a mistake, but for now I'm going to put this on there. For the fourth slot, as we are in a brigantine, we do have 5. We have Ironclad Station, increases ramming by 25%. If you don't know what the brigantine effect is, you basically get, I think, a 40 or 45% increase to ramming, and this just further facilitates for that. I do enjoy ramming. It does up your DPS on a player quite significantly for some huge burst damage. For the fifth slot, we have Chains Locker 1. This will increase the duration of the torn sails effect on an enemy ship by 10%. So basically, it's kind of like a stun. When you tear down the sails, they're kind of stunned. They're stuck in place for a little bit, unless they use a repair kit or they're a brigantine. But this just basically extends that duration of that effect just a little bit longer, which we will be doing quite a lot of these effects. So it does help. It does help a lot. So our first victim for this video. So this was the very, very first fight with this build. So I finally got this build set up, got the cannons set up, and this is the first engagement. I haven't even shot any AI or NPCs with this build yet. So this is my first target, and it is a player. What I've done is I've marked him on the map so that I can see how far he is on my compass, and you can see sort of the range potential of these cannons. I mean, I'm not really doing too much damage to his sails, but it's still some chip damage to his sails. It's still working them down as he starts to come into a more favorable range. He fires a mortar at me here. I'm not too fussed, but I do try to speed up. I do brace it. And we're going to start slowing down and pummeling his sails. There goes the first proc. You can see that 7,000 damage just doing a huge chunk to him. And we're just pummeling his sails with this. We have the long cannons everywhere on every corner of this ship. So really we can do what we want here, and you will see, take note of how I'm controlling this fight, take note of my speed, take note of what's happening here. I have full control over this situation. Now he's trying to shoot my sails too. He's actually almost got my sails torn down, and he's trying to catch me so that he can get range with his cannons. He has the medium cannons, I forgot what they're called. But that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get in range to effectively use those. Here he goes for a broadside. I'm going to go for a broadside. He couldn't quite get on target. He's still firing at my sails. And I'm not sure going for my sails was the right choice for this player. At least for me, I have a full loadout of these cannons. So I can really, that's all I'm going to be doing. And here we're going to be finishing him off. We're just tearing up his sails a little bit more. And I believe this is the last two shots. The mast breaker effect procs, and he is out of here. So our second victim for today's video. So this is actually a snow, and he is definitely some sort of tank build. He does take quite a while to whittle down, but we do manage to get him in the end. Here I'm going to do some absolutely terrible shots at trying to snipe him. But we do pick that up at this point here, and we go back to actually being able to hit our target. So we're obviously going to be focusing his sails. You're going to see me doing this with every single person for the mast breaker effect. Here I broke his sails, and I'm going to come in for a hot ram. He actually blocks or braces the ram, so I do absolutely nothing to him, and he shoots me with demi cannons. Now I've just realized he's got demi cannons at this point, so I'm like, okay, well I can't do that again because it could cost me my life if I make a wrong maneuver. If I get stuck in the wind, I get slowed down, he will just tear me up real quick. So now at this point we're going to be keeping full range control over this player and controlling the situation. He's going to block every single one of my mortar shells, which definitely reduces my potential damage dramatically. You think I'm doing like 4,000 to 5,000 per shot, and he blocks maybe like 4, I think, maybe even 5. So there goes another one. That's another block on that mortar. So really, this is all damage coming straight from these cannons, and he is clearly some sort of tank build, some sort of brace build. And but it is, you can see that the effect, the mast breaker effect, and me shooting the sails, he cannot brace through it. So I'm still getting that mast break effect, and the 7,000 damage, he can't stop that from coming. It's going to come. So we're managing to whittle him down here. He's actually going to be popping a repair kit here shortly. He realizes that he is about to get annihilated, so he pops his repair kit. Now if you're in a snow, I'm going to give you a tip. I highly recommend you check out some of my other videos where I talk about the Royal Custodian hull and balancing your consumables. If this guy was balancing his consumables, his repair kit 1s, his enhanced repair kit 1s, and repair kit 2s are the ones that I use personally, he could try and keep up his defensive capabilities, buying him more time and also giving him a level of survivability against me to try maybe get my sails down or apply some pressure. For the simple fact that he's a snow and using demi cannons in this scenario, there isn't really much he can do. He has shot me with some bombards, but he is just under so much pressure. And you can see what I'm doing here. You can see like what I was talking about earlier with having the same cannons across my ship. You can see as I'm turning, things get better. So we managed to kill him, and he wants some more. I don't know why. The whole time I was flagging him up, giving him the cheers sign. I was like, hey, good fight, but he just continues, wants to go. So we're going to give him another go. Maybe he can do better this time. Here I'm really slowing down and practically not moving at this point. And you can see it, like I told you, I'm getting both my stern and my broadside cannons on either side onto him. And this is just to maximize the amount of damage I can apply. And this is why truly I believe that having a full set of the same guns is just easier and better to get that damage application on your enemy. So you're going to see me doing this a lot here to just get as much damage as possible on this target. He is a snow. He has a ton of HP and the ability to practically just be immune to hull damage with blocking unless we burn his stamina down. But here you can see he blocks another mortar strike. But is that an issue? Absolutely not. For the Scurlock Long Nines, we get another torn sail effect on him, and you can just see the level of control I have in this fight. I am practically doing circles around the snow. Now, obviously, I'm in a brigantine that goes 18 knots, and he's in a snow that goes, I believe, 13 knots. So, see, I am significantly faster. Hence, I am at 2 speed most of the time, and sometimes 1 speed, so that I can stay at an effective range, but also stay out of his effective range. So I think at this point he's decided he's giving up. He can't catch me, he can't do anything, and we finish him off for another beautiful kill. So our third and final victim for this video, I guess this is 2, but I'm going to just, one of them was a bit of a team up. So here we're being a little sneaky, and we were waiting for this player to get close, and then we procced the event, and we get straight stuck into the action, into shooting this guy's sail. Now, actually, initially, I thought these 2 players were together, and so I was going to try and put everything I could into this first player. I really was going to try and burst him down as fast as I could so that I can try and make the 2v1 into a 1v1. But I was actually mistaken, and these 2 were actually in a little brawl together. And I sort of just cut in and was essentially the cleanup crew. I practically did the majority of the damage to that initial player, the one who had the pieces of 8. And now I'm going to set work on this other player. You can see just the ridiculous amount of burst damage I have on this. Now, I'm going to guess that he doesn't have a purple hull. Maybe he needs to get his custodian armor or something. But you saw that just the sheer amount of pressure I put on this guy. Here I'm going to slow down and turn on his inside, get quite a few cannon shots on him, get my mortar shot on him, and I'm actually going to turn back so I can go collect the loot, because I can't just leave it there for someone to come and grab. So I come in here, collect the loot, and now it is time to hunt down and finish off this wonderful, beautiful player here. So you can see I'm lining up my cannons. We're going to shoot at his sails. We'll get the mast break effect, and obviously a good old-fashioned ram to take him down. And that will conclude this video of Scurlocks Long Nines. They are absolutely ridiculous. I hope that the 3 clips really showcased these weapons and what they provide. And I hope that you guys can come up with your own consensus of is it worth getting these cannons or not. I am personally absolutely flabbergasted that I don't have to do that again. I hope not. I hope they don't implement anything like this again. It is just not interactive. It's not fun. But the weapon systems are enjoyable to use, absolutely. For the next video, I was thinking of trying to get multiple targets to fight. Let's see if we can try get some of that and see how we fare when I have, maybe 2 or 3 people hunting me down, trying to take me on with this build. And I'm also currently working on a snow build. So keep in touch, keep in contact for that one. That's going to be exciting. This little snow PvP action. You all have a beautiful time. Cheers for joining. Take care.